Everybody, and it's lovely to see so many of you here in person, and welcome to those of us online as well. We do have a couple of guests this morning. In person, we have Dan Coombs, who is the president of Whitby, the Whitby Rotary Club, and his counterpart, Hans, is joining us on Zoom. They're here to sort of get a feel of how our hybrids are working. So we're getting both perspectives, an in-person and a Zoom perspective. So welcome to you both. Andrew, you have our invitation this morning. I can see you're on the call.
I actually had a communication with Joy yesterday. He said he was going to take it over.
That's okay.
Okay, Amy will have one up her sleeve.
So this is one that we've used in the past, but that's fine. So let us take a moment to remember all the religions represented in the Rotary family. Let us also recall that when we were invited to join our Rotary clubs, we were not asked, are you a Protestant, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Jew, a Catholic, a Buddhist, or a Sikh? You were not asked because all religions are welcome in the Rotary family. Please join me in a moment of reflection and thanks with these words. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us, with our goals before us and no task beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream of a polio-free world, we are thankful for our Rotary friends. All right, and our land acknowledgement is we'd like to acknowledge that here in Bowmanville, we are on the territory covered by the Williams Treaty, and that this land is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We offer our gratitude to Indigenous peoples for their care of the land and their teachings about our earth. Pauline, I'll probably just get you to come up if you want to do birthdays and anniversaries.
Okay. We have two birthdays to celebrate this week. Phil Bricknell is having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Phil, wherever you are. Does everybody remember Phil? And who's the other one? Oh, today, Phil Bricknell, Kevin Miller, November 7th. So happy birthday, Kevin Miller. And far as anniversaries, well, kudos to Amy for showing up because she should be in bed getting breakfast because her and Len are celebrating their wedding anniversary today. So happy anniversary, Amy. And no service above self. So that's it.
And then do you want to introduce?
Oh, I can. Yeah, I'm just getting notes. So he's on the Zoom, I think. So today's speaker is a new Rotarian, someone we haven't had a chance to get to know. So we'll hear a little bit more about Rajesh in a few minutes. Now, Rajesh came to Canada 7 years ago from India. He lives in Whitby. He's married to Nia, and they have two children, a little boy who's 6 and a little girl who's 2. Rajesh has a master's business graduate from the University of New Brunswick. He has vast experience in retail and also IT, and his last job was working for Canadian Tire as an IT consultant. During his career, he's had the pleasure of launching about 40 stores in business and coming to Canada, seeing the South Asian community growing in Durham. He was motivated to go into retail himself and start his venture of his own. So Rajesh, take it away.
He's on there yet, Pauline.
He's not on there.
So that's okay.
Okay, well, he's introduced when he comes.
That's right. Hey.
I think he was actually planning on coming here because he asked me for directions.
Oh.
And I'm good with directions.
All right. Well, we're gonna go with the flow here and switch it up a little bit. As I realized, I just lost an earring. Okay, that's fine. So let's move on to some happy bucks. we'll do that. And then once Rajesh either joins us or he comes online, then we'll go back to him. Okay, well, I'll start. I did not, no. My mother gave me these ones, so that's okay. So I have 10 happy bucks. So yes, it's 19 years that Len and I have been married today. And for those of you who don't know, also, this is also All Souls Day. So in the Catholic Church, it was a way to incorporate those who have passed. And so that's how we incorporated my dad into our wedding, because he was gone long before I even met Len. So 10 happy bucks, plus also I would really rather be here. My house is freezing cold. So for our anniversary today, we're getting a new furnace. So hopefully by the time I get home today, my house will be warmer. So happy anniversary to us. Yeah, so I don't know if there's any other happy bucks, if there's anybody online. Oh, yeah, John.
Yeah, I got 5 happy bucks. Pauline and I had a wonderful time in Montreal celebrating our anniversary. And I hope you agree, Pauline.
I had a great time up the wheel on my own.
I have 5 happy bucks. My 17-year-old grandson went to the States as part of something called the Ontario Prospects. He's a left-handed 6'5" pitcher, and they won the championship down there. And he's now been offered 3 full scholarships. He just has for the States to play baseball. He just has to figure out which one he wants to do.
It wasn't my direction, was it?
There's 5, but I'm gonna put 20 because I think I owe some for all the last few weeks. So here's 20 bucks. My youngest daughter that lives in Curtis is selling her house. So right now they're all living with us. So that's great.
So that's that.
The happy part is good.
Yeah, right. It's soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I have 5 happy bucks. I just have news of Roy Snow, fellow Rotarian. His operation, his surgery on his hip was successful, and he's seeing his surgeon today. He's been working half-time and hopes to go back to full-time work starting, I guess, I think it's in about a week or so. I forgot that part. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you greetings from him. He's doing well and hopes to see us, I guess, hopefully in the new year. So anyway.
Good. I think Rachel was waving her hand.
Rachel, do you have happy bucks?
I did, because I was thinking of last Friday when Amy and I went to the virtual gala for the Hospital Foundation. And so I'm a proud owner of a rowing machine I'm not sure I want. So I get to pick that up today. So hopefully I use it. And so yeah, I'm gonna give 5 happy bucks and make sure I give that to Amy. And the entertainment was pretty funny. It was really good. Amy and I were having a pretty good chit chat back and forth because they had live entertainment. So they had a guy with an accordion doing some Italian dancing, but he was looking right at the camera. So it was really intense. It felt like he was like, it was pretty fun. So 5 happy bucks for a good gala.
Yeah, and then the main singer was Chantal Kreviazek.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So that was pretty neat. Yeah. I luckily got outbid on everything, so I have nothing to pick up.
I know, I wanted to, I thought I would.
We were supporting the
deep
hospital.
down, I know I need it, and I know I want it, so it worked out.
And thanks to, I think it was OPG who forwarded us those free tickets to the gala. So yeah, Rachel and I had a good time.
Yeah, and Leah was on the call with us as well.
Yeah. All right. So now that he's been introduced, he missed his introduction, but that's all right. So it was. So we'll invite Rajesh up, and he's going to tell us about his venture.
Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here in person today. So I thought, yes, it will be a nice opportunity to meet you again as well. So yes, the project is, this is a South Asian grocery store, supermarket, I would say that I'm working on. And the reason I came up with this idea is back in like I came to Toronto in 2015, and then from 2016 I was as I saw how the place is and how people I wouldn't say struggle, but they find it difficult to get the food that they really miss from back home. So that's when the idea came in my mind. But then I was working in IT, I was busy, so I couldn't implement it. But then back in 2020, I should say, when COVID came and everything, so I got little time at home to work on my project. So I started looking for the place, and I found a place in Oshawa. Why Oshawa is because I didn't want to go to the west, because there are already a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of retailers who are already there. So I picked up this location in Oshawa because the South Asian or the Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, all those communities growing in East. They're coming to not only up to Bowmanville, but I see they are going as far as up to Coburg, to Brighton, to those areas as well. And there are many small retailer food outlets that also find it difficult to get their food product or groceries. So I picked up this location, and it's at Taunton and Simcoe in Oshawa. That it is about the total square foot area is about 10,000 square feet, and my floor area would be about 7,000 square feet. So it's a big store that I'm working on. And the idea that I'm implementing to bring up this store is like how the modern stores is in back home, like in India, in a big metro cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, New Delhi, in those places are. So that is how I'm working on. It will be a very open space in the store. It won't be very clumsy. And yeah, like when we go to the stores here, we find, okay, it's difficult to move two carts in the same aisle. It won't be that way. It's wide open, and it will have almost everything that a person needs for their groceries. Not only that, I'm also going to have a hot food table there. So I'm working on that. It's a different area because we have a full kitchen. So I'm going to prepare all the meal there, because I see that most of the restaurants and outlets that sell food, mostly either they sell it like canned food. They open up the can, heat it up, mix up with some seasoning and spices, and just give it. I'm not going to do that. It will all be fresh every day. I won't be having a leftover food today and sell it tomorrow. No, I won't be doing that. So whenever customer comes, they will always have a fresh food. Plus, I'll like make a fresh bread, like we call it like naan, roti. So I'll make a fresh in the store itself. I've invested into good equipment so that they can be very efficient, and I can provide a better product to customers. Like the tortilla making machine, it makes about like 900 tortillas in an hour. So that will be sufficient. And there are a lot of students from Durham College, from UIT, Trent University, and also many other small educational institutions. So I'm sure like they're not going to miss home. They will find a good home, like home prepared food, you know. So that's again like an additional thing which not every store has it. So that's how I came up with this idea, and it's coming up well. So yes, it got delayed because of COVID, because of contractors, but again, it's coming up, and hopefully in like about 2 to 3 weeks from now, it should be open, because I'm just waiting for the city to give me a green light, I would say, or the occupancy certificate. Once I have that, in about a week's time, I'll open it. And when it comes to like how I'm going to communicate it to the neighborhood community, it will be mostly from the digital platform. And also, I'm going to have a separate customer service area in my store. Any customer who comes to the store, they have any concern, any feedback, any suggestion, they can always freely come and talk to us. So that's the environment, that's the kind of a store I'm creating. So yes, and once it's open, you all should come because for sure you will have a lot of curries, a lot of nice curries, naan, lot of good food at the store. And when you come and see, like, you will find it very different. I don't know, like, if you might have seen that kind of Indian store or South Asian store in GT or not, I'm not sure. But all the stores that I have been into, I've not found like a very neat and clean, very open. Like when you go to a store, the shelves should not be stacked up to the top. They should have a nice appeal, nice welcoming appeal. So that's how it will be. So yes, once it's open, I'll surely keep you in loop. I'll let you know that now it's open. Please come and visit. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yes.
I know there's any questions. John?
Do you have a tandoor?
Yes, I will have a tandoor in which I'll make naans.
Okay.
Yes.
Will you have pakoras?
Oh, of course. But for pakoras, we don't need tandoor.
No, I know.
Yes,
but
we will
you
have pakoras. Yes. Yeah.
Ellie? Where is your supply coming from?
So right now I'm procuring locally, like when I say locally, from Brampton, Mississauga, Scarborough, the local distributors. But that is another area I'm working on. So if everything goes okay from next year, I'll work on doing my own import from the countries where we get these supplies from. And also I will be supporting the local producers when it's like a crop season. I'll buy the fresh vegetables, fruits from them, so that my customers will always get the local fresh produce as well. Thank you.
Actually, I was going to say what Eric said, but I thought as you were talking, I think it would be great in the spring if we could have some kind of, or maybe even earlier than that, some kind of Indian meal for the club.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can do that for sure.
I think that would be delicious. Maybe we could all help you and
Yeah, sure.
come into your kitchen and we could all. Have
Yeah, sure.
No, it's just so excited. You don't have to do all that.
No, of course, thank you. And the kitchen that I'm working on, it's almost about 250 to 300 square foot kitchen. So it's a big kitchen that I'm working on because I have my plans eventually to start the small catering. So that's why I'm working on a little bigger size kitchen.
Where did you learn all this? You were in this business back in India.
Yes, back in India, like I was in retail. I worked in retail company for about three and a half years, and during that period, I opened about 40 supermarkets. That is almost like more than 3 million square feet. Yeah, and then I operated some of the stores by myself to get the real-time experience. I learned like what are the pain points that needs to be taken care at the store and to increase the top line and bottom line. Yes,
John?
Two things. If you ever decide to do cooking classes, I'd love to.
That's what I was gonna say.
Sure.
That's what
I would love to do that.
Sure.
But I just listening to you talking about your supply, have you heard about any supply chain issues bringing stuff in from overseas right now? Because all I hear about in our business is containers sitting on ships for weeks and weeks at a time.
That is true. There is a lot of supply chain issues right now. They are getting delayed. So in food industry, if they get delayed a lot, the price increases because all the product that has gone expired, that cost has to be incorporated in the next shipments. So yes, there are issues. Yeah.
Chris, I saw you.
Rajesh, you said that the layout in your store is going to be like traditional stores in India, big cities in India.
No, modern stores in India.
Okay, modern. What's the difference between those and stores here?
So the difference between those is if you walk to a store, like store doesn't know like how the product should be placed. They just make it very clumsy. They just stack all the product. The face up is not good because every product needs to have a nice face up so that when customer goes, yes, the product is right in front, they should be able to read. So the way I have designed is giving enough space for every product. And the aisles will be wide enough, about 4 to 4.5 feet, so that people can move around between the aisle very comfortably. Yes, it's COVID. We want to keep certain distance, but again, like once COVID is gone, it should be very free.
Okay, and supplementary question.
Yeah.
Obviously, starting a business like this, it's huge amount of money. up
Yeah.
front, right? So did you have to have partners, or how did you raise the money?
So when it comes to this, like I had thought to start it with one of the partner who is already in the grocery store. So I started talking with them, and I realized that no, that's not a good option, because getting into a partnership is not easy. The person whom we have to get into partnership should be trustworthy, honest, and likewise, they should have a like mind. And over the period of time, I saw that no, the person whom I was talking to was not the right fit. So I told them no, and then move forward it by myself. So how I arranged for the finances is I had little savings, and then I had investments, and also that's what is helping me now.
That's Rajesh. It sounds as though you were very successful in India. What brought you to Canada?
What brought me to Canada is, yes, I was successful, yes, in my area, that's right, but I wanted to explore the world. I wanted to see like how things happens in the western part of the world. So that's what it brought me to Canada. And when I came to Canada, I studied at the University of New Brunswick. I did my MBA from there, and the program that I chose was the one that gives me an option for the exchange program in different countries. So I chose China. So I went to China, learned how the things happen over there, because we all see that China is the world's manufacturer. So I learned something. So my learning interest brought me to Canada. And then I liked it, and I'm staying here now.
Colleen?
Rajesh, where is the location? You said Oshawa, but where?
Taunton and Simcoe. So on Taunton and Simcoe, south of Taunton on Simcoe, there is a Tim Hortons. It's in that plaza. Yeah.
Steve?
Couple of questions. First one, how'd your wife make out with her master?
With
I know
her
she was
master.
studying and you were busy and we've been out for lunch.
Exactly. So I did not involve her a lot, because she had her final CPA exam. So it was mostly me who was doing everything. But yes, she was taking care of kids, which is a good support. She was taking care of the home, which is a good support too. Yes.
The second question is, I know it might be a little early. What's your projected gross revenue in any calendar year?
So in one calendar
What do you
year,
expect to do?
yes, in one calendar year, my expected revenue is about 1.2 million in a year. Yeah.
And growing from there, or?
And growing from there.
That's what
That's
you'd like
right.
to get.
Yeah.
Are there any questions online, or? What's the name of the store?
So the name of the store is Shania Supermarket.
Perfect. So I don't know, I'm one of those people, I go into these stores and I am so overwhelmed because I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting. So I'm hoping that there's gonna be people there that will guide people like me to,
Exactly.
because I love the food, I just don't know how to
Yes.
cook it.
That's true. That's true. Exactly. And to add on this point, like, I thought like the staff that I will hire, I'll try to hire a staff from the multicultural background, not only like from one community, because at my store, there will also be a mix of some Canadian food, and I'm also going to keep a M&M food too. Not a full range of variety, but some of them. Yeah.
You're gonna have samosas?
I will have samosas too, yes.
I think we're all a little hungry now. Well, thank you, Rajesh, and yeah,
Thank you.
keep us posted and
Yes.
we'll share what we can, and we look forward to coming to the store.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
So we're gonna move on to one of the segments that we do is for our Whitby friends is Know Your Rotarian. So we have two Rotarians that are going to tell us a little bit about each other. Gail is here in person. Lisa is online with us. So Gail, I'll have you come up. Okay.
So did you ever meet anybody for, like I did, for an hour and 3/4 and decide you maybe only scraped the surface? Because when Lisa and I met in Starbucks, the two of us were talking and we kept going off in tangents because many of the things that we spoke about we had in common, and then we would talk about it. And so although I know a little bit about her and I'm going to tell you some stuff about her, I feel like I just scratched the surface. So Lisa Tamlin and her husband and her 2 sons live on a dairy farm in Orono. And it's the 4th generation operation of that farm. I think that's pretty cool. She has 2 sons, one's 19 and one's 15. The 19-year-old is in college in Ottawa, and the 15-year-old attends Bowmanville High School. Lisa spent most of her career in the dental industry as a dental assistant, and now more as in administration. She works at a community health center in Port Hope. And as she described it, I was fascinated by it because it's not like 222 King Street. It's not that kind of community health center. It's a community health center that serves the community in Port Hope, but many of the people who go there are somewhat disadvantaged. She works in the dental part of it, more in administration now than in dental work. But we talked about some of there's a dietitian there, there's a community pantry. And so this is where we got off, because in the pantry is like a food bank, and the food bank is supported by Food for All, which is like the Feed the Need Durham in Northumberland County. And Lisa, I think one of the things that happened is we talked about the dental stuff, but then we talked more about how she's packing boxes at the food bank and the amount of food that's being given and how impressed she is. And then I started to tell her about how I'm impressed by the food banks here in Bowmanville. They're giving out more food than they did at Daily Bread. So that was one of the times we went off on a tangent. One of the other things that I found out about Lisa is that for a number of years, about 10 years, she did dental work at the jail in Lindsay, the central. See, I have notes, but I can't read notes. In the Central East Center, and we talked a lot about the inmates. I think one of the things that she came away from that was just how fortunate we are, because everybody there has a story. You know, there for the grace of God go I. I think one of the things that we found out about each other too is that in that marginalized community, we found out like how it could be like us, but that some of the people, the inmates, were hardened, but most of them were just like us. And something had happened. The other thing that we compared some notes on and were kind of stunned is that the women in who are incarcerated are more hardened quite often than the men. I have a niece and a nephew who are prison guards in Sault Ste. Marie, and both of them have said exactly the same thing. The men are not as hardened as some of the women. I guess if you're a woman and you get into that, you're pretty far down the line. Let me see, what else did I find out about Lisa? Well, one of the things, I think Ron has some pictures, and if you might put them up. Lisa's 2 sons on the farm decided that they were going to build a log cabin. And this summer, the 2 boys put together this log cabin on their own. Isn't it pretty spectacular? A 15-year-old and a 19-year-old. And this fall, they put in a wood stove. So it's their little hangout. And as she told me about this, and as she described it, and I looked at the pictures, I saw the pride she had in these 2 boys. And, you know, as a mother of 3 sons myself, I know what it's like to be proud, and she should be proud of them. Now, let me see what else my notes say here. You know what? I think I'm going to stop there, because if I like I said, I feel like I've just scratched the surface and oh, the one thing I asked her why Rotary, she made the mistake of asking Steve Kay about this organization. And so here she is, and I know that she is going to be a credit to our organization. And she said she's looking for an opportunity for personal growth. I think she'll get it here, and I think she'll help us grow as well. So that's Lisa.
And Lisa, are you gonna share us with Gail about Gail? You're on mute.
She's driving.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Uh-oh, sorry, I just need a couple moments. I'm just in transit. I just need to find a place to pull over.
Pull over, geez. Okay.
Pretty good. Joe.
I mean, if you're gonna run around, you gotta be able to tap into.
Yeah, you sort of, you just gotta go with the flow. Yeah.
How many times have you done this?
This is our third, yeah. So it's,
I mean, kudos to Ron. Each time I've done this, it gets better. I mean, I think this is great, Ron.
yeah, it's getting smoother and smoother, so, yeah. Phil Benner, you're still on there. Do you want to just, while Lisa's parking, do you want to just let us know how things went yesterday?
Yeah, so yesterday was good. I mean, a couple of complications with the beer store, but you know, everything seemed to go smoothly, which was nice. So thanks to everybody who volunteered. It was, I would like to say fun, but it was laborious, and you know, being covered in horrible beer and wine dregs was kind of gross for most of the day. But out of that, we net $1,131.60. So it was a good day. Yeah. Again, thanks to everybody. And just as a quick, I was going to do this during announcements, but if you have not sent Ted what your schedule looks like for Christmas trees, if you can do that, Amy, I'm talking to you. If you can do that, that would be okay. Good. I just wanted to make sure. If you could do it, that would be great, because I know he wants to get the schedule done quite shortly. So.
Yeah, so I'm kind of going all over the place, Phil, so you are kind of in our announcements. I'm just, you know.
Okay, no problem.
Making up time, so, yeah, so that's good. Yeah, Ted, I did send you, do you have a schedule or do you have an announcement?
Just an announcement.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, a week today, 9 o'clock, we're gonna set up the yard. We need about 6 or 7 people. Right, so it'll be after Rotary. And then we open it on the 20th, and Christmas trees arrive. I got an email late last night, 19th, late afternoon. So we get trees late one afternoon, and open the next morning.
So we'll need help on the 19th too, unloading trees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, I could still use it. Anybody knows students that are looking for volunteer hours, I may still be able to use a few.
Okay. And I got an email, and I know that the youth is working on it from our third Bowmanville Scouts. So I'll maybe have Sean get in touch with you, because some of the scouts could come out to help out.
I haven't started the schedule. I hope we get at it and get it done this week.
Okay. Good.
You know, to put it in perspective, Amy, there's almost 600 trees.
Oh, I know.
So even if we had 20 people there unloading, each of you are going to handle 30 trees.
Yeah.
So you need people, strong people too.
Good.
Yeah, and for the Saturday, for the next Tuesday morning.
Oh, sure. Dan, you got a question?
How many years have you been doing this now?
The trees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
It's
28 or something.
well over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob Stevens actually did the first couple.
There you go.
And how do you market it now? Is it social media?
Social media, and it's at Watson Farm, so everybody drives
Everyone
past.
drives past.
This happens so often, people,
Have they
that's
been known?
where they go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy, it's my understanding that years and years ago, the club actually grew the trees.
Yeah, that's many years ago.
Yeah. I found that so remarkable. They
That's
grew
before
the
my
trees.
time, and that's 30
Yeah.
years.
Harvest them, sell them.
It's been
Yeah.
well over 30 years since they stopped.
That's even more difficult than selling cars.
So I see Lisa is parked.
Yeah.
We've got her, we can see her now. So Lisa, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. As Gail stated earlier, we had the pleasure of finally meeting each other face to face last week. I will say the same as Gail stated. I just feel like I've sort of scratched the surface as to getting to know her. She's already mentioned that she is a grandma, and a very proud grandma of her grandson, Jack, who's a very accomplished baseball player. She has 3 sons that live in Ajax, Newcastle, and Blackstock, respectively. With chatting with Gail, I found out that she's had 3 careers, the first one being in the insurance field. The second one, Gail was a school board trustee in East York from 1985 to 1997. When the 7 school boards within Toronto amalgamated in 1997, Gail was elected to chair of the Toronto District School Board from 1998 to 2001. Her third career, and I would say the one that she's most passionate about, was working with the Daily Bread Food Bank in the capacity of executive director for 12 years. And it's hearing her talk about it, I'm not surprised that she's involved with Feed the Need Durham, and I mean, is a great asset to that organization. Gail is now retired and enjoys spending her weekends during the summer at a trailer north of Lakefield with her family. Gail has done lots of traveling, and I know she hopes to resume that once COVID is no longer a challenge. I know she enjoys baking. She had baked a pie prior to us meeting last week. One thing that we have in common as well is our love of scoring a deal at a thrift store, which I appreciate. I had a great conversation with her, and as she had mentioned in her talk, we certainly went off on lots of little side tangents. We do have a lot of commonalities, and I certainly look forward to having more face-to-face visits with her in the future to get to know her better.
Excellent. Here's a little teaser. Next week, we get to meet one of Gail's sons. Yes, so we're having our Remembrance Day meeting next week, and Gail's son was in the armed forces.
He's in the armed forces, served both in Kosovo and Afghanistan.
And he'll be joining us next week. So yeah, proud mama moment next week. Yes. All right. So now that we're going back to finish off our announcements. First of all, I don't know if Jason is still here with us. Jason, there you are. Thanks to Jason and Cheryl for putting up with us last week. It was nice to see so many faces, out around the campfire. So thank you very much. We're glad you didn't sell. We also are looking for some more help. Back pre-COVID, there was always somebody assigned to do the setup and the takedown and the checking in downstairs. We've not assigned that role to anybody because we've been not needing it because we've been online. We're back in person now for those of us who are able to join us. So we're not assigning that, but we are asking for volunteers. So if you're willing to help, come a little early, set up, put the sign out, stay, because afterwards we just have to wipe things down. If you could let Joe know or myself know, Wayne and Renee have been doing it the last couple of weeks. I appreciate that, but there's more than 2 in our club, so we're just looking for a little extra hands. And good for the new members too, because you get to know people. Like I remember when I started, I was put on there until you got to know everybody's name. So yeah, so hopefully we can have some more help with that. I'm going through my list here. Joe, you wanted to have the little announcement about the concert?
Quick announcement is going to segue for Gail. So I sort of came here in a rush this morning, and the reason was because I was trying to print out some sponsorship sheets, but my printer wouldn't work, and so I was swearing, and I never got my coffee. But you know, being here in the meeting, it's just a reminder. I came here, I was really kind of in a foul mood, but now hearing everybody's great stories and seeing being in a Rotary meeting, it's put me in a good mood. So it's amazing how these things work. So the concert, I just want to bring you up to speed. It's December 12th. This year we're at the Regent Theater because the kindness of so many Rotary clubs, Dan's Rotary Club in Whitby, and six other clubs. So we have 8 clubs this year who are presenting, which means they're all going to be kicking in a little bit of cash and hopefully getting some sponsors. The sponsorship sheets are out. I was planning to bring them today, but couldn't print them out. Basically, we have 3 levels, 1,000, 500, and 250. You get some tickets. If you're a sponsor, you also get, if you're at the top level, you get a video. Some of our members have already stepped up. Thank you, Dawn. It's going to be one of our sponsors. I think Steve was, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but okay. And if anybody else would like to, through their company or individually, that's great. Or you can, if you know people, give them a call, as we always do, because sponsorships are going to really be the lifeblood of this thing. The Regent Theater, they're giving us a great break, and in fact, they're going to end up being one of the sponsors because because of the break they've given us. We also have Lorna McQuaid is going to be one of our sponsors in kind. They're going to be supplying all the gear, which was really nice. That sort of just happened because one of the band members, Cheryl Ireland, whose band Autumn Smoke is going to be playing there. She said, "Hey, I also work at Lorna McQuaid. I'm the manager of the rentals. Would you like us to supply your back line?" I said, "Sure." So they're going to be a sponsor. And I just want to run a few things by. Oh, a couple of other notable things. David Smith, I don't know if people know him. David runs he's done the sound for his company, Little Big Sound. Every year they do Ribfest. He's actually going to be one of our stage managers. He and Mike McGilvery, who does the family stage, they're going to be donating their time to do that, which is great. So, because as you know, this concert is crazy. You run through it really quickly. And I'm just going to quickly run through the lineup. If I can find what to do with this thing here, just a second. Where am I? Okay, just a second. Here we are. So the bands we have. Let's try this again. Sorry. Anyway. The Autumn Smoke is going to be there, Cheryl Ireland. We have Tanya Joy, who is sorry. I'm sorry about this. I can't seem to get this to work. And my brain is not working properly this morning. So I'll just tell you that we have 12 acts. It's going to move really quickly. Just a few things that we have as well, I wanted to let you know about. This came from Rob and Gail. I'm sure you know about this. Since COVID, this is why when talking about the need has never been greater. 30% increase in food bank usage since COVID began, a 25% increase in emergency meal program visits. Over 65 emergency food providers across Durham are now members, and Robin says that number is now pushing 70. And I said to her, "Is that good news or is that bad news?" Because there's more people who than ever before, are hungry. I don't know. Is it good or bad news, Gail? I don't know.
Well, it's good news in is that there are more centers open closer to where people in need. The bad news is that there are more people.
Yeah. And I was just reading this morning, the price of milk is going to be going up by 8.4% next year. And that's going to throw a whole lot of more people into food insecurity. And they're going to need their food banks, and they're going to need their food programs. And a lot of them get their food a number of our outlets here in Bowmanville get their food from Feeds and Needs. So it's really, really important. Anything you can do to help out is most appreciated. Any sponsorships you can dig up. If you want to help out with the concert, let me know. We actually have a meeting tonight. And so that's great. Anyway, thank you. I'm sorry I have some stumbling around here. I haven't had my coffee this morning. Please bear with me. Pardon me? It's December 12th. December 12th, and tickets are $30 at the Regent Theater, the historic Regent Theater, beautiful place. And there's also going to be an online offer. So for $12, you can actually watch the show online. They have it set up, and it's not going to be, when I'm told, it's not going to be a traditional, we'll stick the camera there and you can see the stage. There's going to be, it's a 3-camera setup. So it's going to look like a TV show. And we're really happy we've got the region involved. And thank you very much for allowing me to stop.
Yeah, Chris?
Oh, no, it's a.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I make it quick?
Absolutely.
Very quick announcement?
Yep.
I don't know if Chris Velasco is on Zoom, but since we are in November, the online holiday art sale is now started as of yesterday. So this is a collaboration between the Rotary Club and the Oshawa Art Association, and it's basically to support local artists. So you can go on the website and you'll see all the art that's available, and you can just purchase it. And then by doing that, you're supporting all the artists that have really had a hard time in the last couple of years. And when you buy something, it will be delivered to you. So the price that you see there includes delivery. And this is original art. It's not, they're not just copies or pictures or anything like that. It's actual art. So if you get a chance, go and take a look. Yes.
There's I went on with mine and saw the art there. There's one lady who's quite prolific, and it's mostly for art right now. So what was her name again? It's mostly landscape watercolors.
I haven't.
Shannon or something like
Shirley.
that.
Yeah, I think
Benson?
Shirley. Yeah.
Just lovely.
Yeah.
work.
No, there's
no,
some
and
really great.
She put up quite a lot of her
Yeah.
art.
And this is the second year.
Actually,
Yes.
she was our next door neighbor. She just moved to Peterborough.
Yeah.
And normally these pieces of art, the money is divided between Rotary, the art.
The Oshawa Art Association.
And
get a-
the artist, right?
Yeah.
Shirley gave all of this artwork and said, I don't want anything. The thing is divided between Rotary and the art group.
Association. Yeah.
And she also donated 4 other pieces of art that she doesn't want in there. She said they can go in an auction that you guys have at some later date.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't remember. There must have been about 50 or 60 pieces of art. And she just gave us.
Oh, it's great. And this is the second year that we've run this. And last year I bought, or my daughters bought 3 or 4, and I bought a couple. And they're really good and great prices too. Some.
Early Christmas.
Okay.
offer. All right, very good. Yep.
I got an email from the Rotary Club Sunday. They've asked me to be the speaker at one of their meetings. Their meetings is on a Sunday. I believe the time here locally is 8 a.m. I haven't set the date yet, but I'm hoping that some of our members can join in.
I was gonna say, I know Joe will be there.
You know, I just want to, sorry, Grant. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dan, for your information, that's a club in Uganda, which we are currently trying to help out to provide equipment for a medical unit that they are currently building. But anyway, they asked me if I would be speaker at one of their meetings. I hope a lot of you guys can join it. Joe.
Yeah, I just want to say, I try to get to their meetings just because they're always really fascinating. I learned something about, this week I learned about business in Africa. they had this, they had the second, they said the second most successful businessman, which is starting in Uganda, was their guest. And he was just incredibly fascinating, talking about the way business, like what Uganda has to do to become prosperous, about the fact that they're backward in this, they're backward in that, and Kenya does this, and Tanzania does that, and we don't do it, and we got to start doing this. It was just fascinating. But the thing that will blow your mind when you go on there, you're going to see, I think there were 9 pages of people. Like, it's unbelievable how many people are at this meeting. It's you can't believe how many people are there from 9 or 5 pages, whatever. It's astounding with the Zoom meeting. It's just like page after page after page of people who are Rotarians from not just
It's a relatively new club.
Yeah.
And they were well above 130 members.
122, I'm sure. Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah. Are there any other announcements? Anybody? No. I want to remind the board that we do have a board meeting next Wednesday. So if there's any reports, if you can get them to Pauline. Yeah. Oh, and also last Thursday, I also want to thank Ellie for helping me out. Pie and hot chocolate and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, it was good. All right. So yes, Joe.
Any ideas about what we should do for our next Thursday?
Well, if Rajesh's store is open, I say we have a cooking class. I think that certainly should be one of our socials on a Thursday night is, yeah, or a visit just to sort of lay of the land and yeah, no ideas yet, but we'll come up with something. So I didn't know, Reg, did you know that you have the quote of the week? And he's here. I was gonna say it's kind of like we used to tease Fred when he'd show up. Come on up, Reg.
Usually, Reg, you've got a hockey puck and tell us a story.
Well, I do. I won't get into the gruesome details, but my younger brother, last year I got a bull, which is the first in 9 years. And then this year, after my brother shot 3 trees, and we're yapping and talking for about 20 minutes as we're watching. And the rock, he looked at it in the morning and said, "Was that a black hole in the rock?" I said, "No, it's just a rock." Well, actually, that turned out to be the bull we walked by. And then 2.5 hours later, we come out and he says, "You sure?" Okay, it's your turn. You've missed 2, so you go ahead. Well, I couldn't wait because I don't know what he was doing. So anyway, we have missed me.
I have a picture of the tree.
Yeah, so.
Take the tree.
And again, Mr. Armed Forces sharpshooter is kind of embarrassing. We're asking him in the morning whether he's going for birch today or hemlock. Okay, the quote of the day. If you continue to think the way you've always thought, you'll continue to get what you've always got.
That's very true.
Kevin Trudeau, and again, I have no idea if he's related to the other guy, because Maria looked after this for me.
There's too much wisdom in that quote.
So there you go.
Perfect. Thanks, Reg.
Oh, we shouldn't be political, but I couldn't stop myself.
All right. So in all honesty, Reg, I wasn't sure if you were going to show up. So I did come up with a quote that I'm going to have more so it is my anniversary. So it said, "Look at yourself as a color. You may not be everyone's favorite, but one day you will meet someone who needs you to complete their masterpiece." So I should probably get a card, shouldn't I? I got time. I'll put the bill for the furnace in it. That's what we'll do. All right, so if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, thank you all for coming. I want to remind you next week, the 9th, here back at Rehoboth, online if you can't. It's going to be a pretty special meeting. Not only did I say is Duncan going to be here, John's got a little presentation for us, and Steve Kay and Doug McShane are going to be joining us to tell us about the lovely banners all through town. So it's going to be a pretty good meeting. So please join us if you can, and I'll see you then. All right. Have a good week.
You're still on Zoom?